Hello, and welcome. It's me, Marbles44, and welcome to another Vanguard Zero deck and fight. So this time, we're going to be looking at Incandescent line Blond Ezel, the Ezel deck. This deck is actually a tier 2 deck. It's at the top of tier 2, the best tier 2 deck, so the second best deck in the game, as of right now. As usual, I'll be going over the budget options, so the cards you can run in case you don't have some of the cards. Some of them you need, as usual, but others you could do without if you want to just play the deck and try to climb with the deck. So, anywho, let's look right into the deck. So, it's a 9 crit deck, which isn't too common. It's a lot more common now with the inclusion of Ezel and Spectral Duke. And things like that, because they're able to run it this way, because it's what they do. It's either bum rush or it's either the pressure of restanding, and it's very good. It's really, really strong, but a lot of decks still run 9 draw. Or like Oracle Think Tank decks, you know, run a few draws and then a few stands. Not a lot of decks run pure crits like this, but this is one of those decks. And it is the second best deck in the game. There's different builds of this deck you can run. This is one of them. This is the high roll build. And this one works out most of the time. It's very, very powerful. So, we got your Incandescent line, Blond Ezel. We're going to our grade 3s first. So what he does, he got buffed in this game, as you probably know. Limit Break 4, Counterblast 1, look at top 4 cards of your deck. So he's not a Counterblast 2, he's a Counterblast 1 in this game. And you look at the top 4 cards of your deck instead of calling the top card. And then you pick one of the cards, call it, and it gains the original power of that card. The original power of that card is added to this card, so very strong. And then its other skill is, during your turn, this unit gets plus 1k for each of your rear guards. So that's really strong too. And it's also an 11k base, so even if you can't use your limit break that turn, and you have a full field, you're still swinging for 21 with a boost or more. So Ezel's really good at hitting cross rides and non-cross rides as well after one of its rear guards hits their Vanguard. So it's very strong with that, and it's a really good high roll deck because of just all this. You can pressure immensely. The only issue with this deck is that it's just swing, 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 and that's it. It's just 3 swings and nothing else. That's why the high roll deck is so good, because you can consistently pressure with what the deck does, on top of the fact that you can just get so much, thin out your deck, and easily pull triggers. So it's a very, very strong deck for that reason, and that's why the high roll deck is probably the best one. But I mean, there's the different variations, but the high roll one is just so good. We are also running 3 Garmore. Now, some decks run 4 Garmore, some run 3. I like the 3 per se, just because I like 2 Pellinore. There are times that, you know, you won't pull a crit, and you know your opponent doesn't have a PG, and riding the Pellinore could make such a big difference when you superior call it, because they can't cheese you out of a heal, and, you know, you don't pull a crit on your drive checks. That doesn't remove a crit from your deck, though, but it guarantees the crit rather than leaving it up to chance. So it helps you with that, and that's kind of why I like 3 Garmore, 2 Pellinore, and a lot of the time it's very easy to get Ezel. I was running this deck with 2 Ezels at first, I kid you not, and I got Garmore like 3 times. I started running the deck with 3 Ezels, I got Garmore like twice, but when I was playing with 3 Ezels, I played like 50 times, maybe more, probably more. When I was playing with the 2 Ezels, it was like 20-30 times. So that one Ezel made a big difference, but you just get it so consistently because of the Gareth, Beaumains, Kyrph starter to superior ride Ezel, and then the fact that, you know, you have like 4 in the deck, so it's just so good. But Garmore is a good backup Vanguard. I've never won a game with him though. Actually, that's untrue. I won one game, but that's because the person I was facing got Thunderbreak instead of Vermilion, so we were kind of playing the same game at that point. Yeah, you don't... I don't find I win with Garmore usually, but Pellinore is really good because what it does is... Its first ability is when this unit attacks, put a rear guard on the bottom of your deck to have 2 of your units get plus 5k until end of turn. So before you had to put 2 units to the bottom of the deck. So now you just put 1 and you get 2 units to get that 5k still. So that's helpful if your opponent pulled a trigger or something. But even then, you usually don't need that because when you Superior Ride this, it gains plus 5k and a crit. And also, if you get this with Viviane as well when you're on grade 2, if you Superior Call this, you end up riding it if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater. So if your opponent's on grade 2 and you're on grade 2, you get to ride this. And it gets plus 5k and a crit. And it's just, it can be terrifying. I've never had that happen, but some decks run more Vivianes. Like I have 2 Vivianes, and you could run a couple Vivianes just for that. And the early Superior Calls are very nice. It's hard to say what you would take out. I think you'd take out the Tripp because the Lop-Ear is just so good and helpful. And you need the Bone in main, and the Self-Damager you can't run any less of. But it's a very tricky deck. Like, you could take out a card here and slip 1 more copy of a card there, like I did with Pellinore and Garmore, and you could do with Viviane and Tripp. But it's up to you. Those are really the only cards you could kind of like switch out. And Fallon is just here as well, as your heal trigger, 9 crit 4 heal, just for the extra 2k. When it attacks a Vanguard, which is nice. So as for your grade 2s, you have your 4 self-damagers, really, really important for this deck. Basically, you self-damage a lot with this deck, and I mean a lot. Even if you already have a limit break, you usually self-damage. So, A, if your opponent's at 5 damage, and you pull a heal, you get to heal, and that brings you even further ahead. Or B, if your opponent pulls a heal, and even if your opponent's not at 5 damage, if they're at less than 5 damage, you still heal. And if your opponent pulls a heal, they can't heal unless they're at 5 damage. So it's really, really nice for that reason. The self-damagers are really good with that. The deck pressures with the crits, and then the self-damagers help with applying more pressure, not letting your opponent heal, making their triggers kind of useless on your turn. So yeah, combined with that, it's very scary. Your 4 Beaumains, you need it for the Superior Ride. You have 2 Lop-Ears, really good, really good for this deck because you counterblast 1 with Ezel. Superior Call Lop-Ear, you drop a card, so that's 1 extra Superior Call now. And you know, a lot of the times you're dropping like a grade 3 or some grade 1 that you don't need. Honestly, sometimes, depending on what grade 2 you have in hand, it could be worth it to drop the grade 2, but a lot of the time you have like a grade 3 or a grade 1 that you can just drop and Superior Call something extra, because you thin out your deck more, which is huge for this deck, and you get an extra Superior Call for pretty much no counterblast cost, because Ezel's the one who needs those counterblasts, so that's great. Tripp's your damage on Flipper. I don't hit with her a lot on the Vanguard because you need your Vanguard to swing at their Vanguard. That's why you can opt out a Tripp for Viviane. And I've kind of been considering doing that because I have 2 Vivianes. I'd say I wouldn't run more than 2 Vivianes, but because Ezel's limit break is just so good. But I have considered running Viviane, like an extra one. So I'm not sure. You can switch that out, as I said. Give it a try. I'm probably gonna try it and see where I go from there. But yeah, either 2 Viviane or 2 Tripp. But Tripp, damage on flipping, sometimes, once in a while you get it, and it is nice. And Viviane, I already told you what's nice about her. You can get Pellinore, or you can just flat out, if you have Beaumains as your Vanguard, you can't Superior Ride Ezel. You have Viviane. Viviane counterblast. Oh, you Superior Call grade 1. That means Beaumains can now hit. for sure, especially if it's like a Gareth behind it, and your opponent's at grade 1. Usually you want to go first with this deck a lot of the time, because the biggest strength about this deck is the superior ride. So your opponent would be at grade 1 and you'll be at Ezel, and that is huge. That's what makes this deck so powerful as well. But just all of this in combination as well helps. So your Gareth, really important. Of course, you need it for the Spear Ride. Your 4 PGs, very important too. Your self-damagers, you need 4 of them, very important. It doesn't matter that they have low power, because even if they do, you have columns very easily with Ezel, and also you swing with your rear guards at their Vanguard first, because your Vanguard's going to be 21k or over all the time. It's going to be swinging at that the whole time, pretty much. And then 1 Dindrane just for the Soul Blast draw, which is very, very nice and can net you a PG. And could just net you a plus anyway. Maybe even something to drop with Lop-Ear. Like, it just helps out. It's really, really good. And your start is Kyrph, of course. Which, what he does, if you don't know, you put Beaumains and Gareth and this card into the Soul when Beaumains is on your Vanguard, and Gareth and this in the rear guard, and Superior Ride Ezel from your deck. And sometimes it is worth it to Superior Ride Ezel, even if you already have an Ezel in hand, because you just get that much further ahead from all the pressure. So, anywho, enough about that. I think we hop into this. I've been talking a bit, but I've learned a lot about this deck from playing it, so I wanted to share what I learned. Okay, so I wanted to look at the budget deck. I kind of forgot about that. I actually ended up hopping into a game, and it was a VP farmer at least. But yeah, so the grade 1s, nothing there, but grade 2s, if you don't have Viviane, you could run extra Lop-Ears, and if you don't have extra Lop-Ears, you could run extra Tripps, but Lop-Ears are kind of the way to go. Lop-Ears are just so helpful. I actually have thought about running 3 Lop-Ears in place of like a Tripp as well, so I could knock out both Tripps, run an extra Viviane and an extra Lop-Ear, because I've considered it. There's quite a bit you can kind of change with that grade 2 lineup right there. Beaumains and the Self-Damager can't be changed, but these 3 are interchangeable, honestly, by running an extra copy of like Lop-Ear or Viviane. And Tripp's still important, but of course it doesn't hit the Vanguard a lot of the time. The times that it has, though, it has rewarded me, and I have won the match because of it, but a lot of the time it doesn't hit it, so you can kind of shuffle it around, work out what's best, because, you know, you run Viviane early on, so she can get you early pluses, and not just that, give you early harassment as well. I'd say Flash Edge Valkyrie is a good replacement for Lop-Ear if you don't have that. You don't really have a replacement for Tripp, and you don't have much of a replacement for Viviane. You just run more Lop-Ear. That's it. If you don't have Viviane, you run more Lop-Ear just to try to get the extra superior calls when you superior call it. So that's kind of it for your grade 2s. As for grade 3s, Garmore is your backup Vanguard, but if you don't have him, honestly, just run like Gigantech Destroyer, however you say that, or Sagramore, or Slago Double Edge, one of those 3, I'd say, just because, just extra rear guards, basically. You're going to be focused on Ezel, even though Garmore is your backup Vanguard. As I said, I never win with him. The one time was when I was fighting a Thunderbreak, because he didn't get Vermilion. So Garmore, even though it's your backup Vanguard, you get Ezel, there's a good chance you can win. You get Garmore, you're not winning. So he's there as a backup Vanguard to hopefully you could try to win with it. And honestly, Viviane, it's good to get a couple Vivianes for if you ride Garmore. But yeah, Garmore isn't really that great, so it's easy to replace him with just an extra rear guard. But anyways, that's it for the budget part. Flash Edge Valkyrie is an 8k though, so that is kind of a problem. And it does require Counterblast, but if you really don't have anything else, you kind of just run that, because you could also run Slagle, what's his name? The one... It's not Slagle Dagger, that's the grade 1. The other one, the grade 2 one, you can also run that in place of them just because those Counterblasts can be very, very helpful on a turn. Okay, this is actually a pretty solid hand. Okay, so here we're going to put Beaumains back. I'd put the grade 2 Damager back. If I get a Gareth, that's great. I got another Ezel. And I got the Self-Damager back, which is nice too. But I need to keep the Beaumains, and when you run this deck, if you have a Gareth, or even if you have the chance to get a Gareth, or a chance to get a Beaumains, you ride Disciple of Pain or Dindrane, because the Superior Ride is so huge that if you draw it, you're sitting pretty. Unfortunately, I'm not first, but he's also running Ezel, it seems, so this will be interesting. You know when you thought VP farmers were dead, and then, I swear, yesterday I was running into them all day, trying to climb because Coco was here. See? Right there, Gareth. So ride this. Next turn I get Ezel. I have 2 Ezels in hand, so it is debatable that though, because I have 2 in hand. The catch is if he Superior Rides though, I have to, because that's too much of a difference. I'm sitting on grade 1. I need to get to grade 3 then. I have 2 Ezels in hand, so I lost 2 crits. It's debatable if it's worth it or not at this point. He lost a PG, so it might actually be worth it, but I don't know. I have to play it by ear, by what I draw, by what he does. I have no more water. Shit. No, I have to Superior Ride. He's doing it. And it's good. If I were first, even though I had 2 Ezels, I probably would too. So it's just so powerful. So, yeah, I'm good at Superior Ride. There's Lapierre. The Silverfang Witch isn't a bad replacement if you don't have Dindrane, but it's pretty easy to get Dindrane. Like, it's a Soul Blast 2 to draw. But that 1k can make a little bit of a difference, because, you know, you run all these 8ks. Actually, wait, no, not really. The Dindrane is just nicer for the 6k. No, it can still make a difference because of what some people run and in what decks you face. It does make a difference. There we go. Okay, he's probably running the high risk. I've seen builds where like they run stands instead of crits. I've also seen builds where they run like 4 draw, 5 crit, or 4 crit, 5 draw. No, it's 4 draw, 5 crit, I think. But alright, that's another crit, unfortunately, but we're gonna have to Superior Ride Ezel, or we're gonna be way too far behind right now. That's kind of unfortunate, but as I said, we're gonna be too far behind. Like, look where I'm sitting. You get to draw when you do this as well. Superior Ride, then draw, hoping to get a PG. Didn't. Both of us have a PG in the damage, so. Anyways, he gave me 3 damage, so we're gonna call Disciple of Pain. And now we're gonna start Limit Break. So we're gonna start getting pluses. We're gonna call Beaumains. I'm going to put you... I'm gonna put you here. Swap their positions. Because there's a good chance I'd get like a 9k, and it can hit Lapierre, but then Disciple of Pain can't really do much. Drop an Ezel, we'll drop this one, show off that I have that. Just because why not? Call it Disciple of Pain. And that's really good, that'll put me to 5 damage. So if I were to double heal and I were to crit, I mean, I'd still be able to engage. I don't know exactly where to put this. I'll put it here, actually, in case I get a Disciple of Pain. Not a Disciple, Master of Pain, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, I have one in hand because I can call him there and call Tripp there if I need to. Here's where it's debatable to use another Limit Break. I say don't. You feel it's looking really good. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Do not think it's worth it at all. Thinking on it, I probably should have Beaumains there and put Disciple of Pain behind Master of Pain. I think I did mess that up. But I was worried if I got another Master of Pain, to be honest. Because then I could call Tripp at least. But, I mean, it wouldn't matter what side it's on, so I don't know what I was worrying. Alright, get crit. Boom, he's up 4 damage. He's 2 PGs in the damage zone, which is great. I don't have any PGs though, but and I didn't pull a heal, which is kind of unfortunate, but we get to put 2 cards back. Now the cards that you put back, it's random, but it's from Master Pain and Disciple of Pain, it's random, but it's priority on face down cards. So if you limit break a lot, and let's say if I limit break one more time, that Garmore could have went back to the deck. Even though a damage check, it was like a damage check, it still could have went back to the deck. So that's very, very nice, and I've used that to put heals back to the deck, and other stuff. Of course, it's random, but it's very, very good. Okay, so now he gets the limit break. He doesn't have to self-damage. I guess it doesn't matter if you run Silver Fang Witch or Dindrane, I guess, because you only run one of it. So Silver Fang is probably nicer, because at least if you call it, you can kind of draw a card. I don't know the reason you run Dindrane, though, because I know people run Dindrane, but I guess it's more... I don't know. Ooh. Oh! Oh! He's going all in. That's weird. That's weird. If he doesn't pull a crit here, he can't win. That's very strange. Unless he has an Ezel in hand. If you have an Ezel in hand, honestly, I don't think this is a bad idea. Because the next turn you can rewrite Ezel and still continue to limit break. And you get the pressure with this free crit and pop something. Or possibly win the game. So if you pull his crit here, he kind of kicks my butt. We're good. Tron? Bad choice. Disciple of Pain's really good. Okay, both of those damage zone. I haven't seen a heal at all. But we're about to Spirit Call a lot. I think I thin out my deck as much as possible, though, so I can get a heal. Oh. And if he doesn't have another Ezel in hand, he's not going to be able to do anything, so it's kind of... It's really weird that he did that. The nice thing is I can look at how many grade 2s and stuff I have left in deck. I don't know whether or not I should call it grade 1 or grade 2. We're gonna call it grade 1. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna call it grade 1. Yeah, good idea, good idea, good idea. Good idea, Marley. Alright, we got this. We're just gonna pure cycle everything. We're gonna, not cycle, thin out everything. We're thinning it all out. That looked like a desperate play, so kind of thinking you might not have a PG in hand. I mean, there's 2 in the damage zone. There's not a good chance he has it. I mean, heck, I only lost 1. I don't have a single 1 in my hand, so sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. When you run into a PG in your hand with this deck, you don't want to put it back because it's hard to come by, as you can see. Oh no, he's running. Ooh, he's running crit and draws. Okay. I guess that's probably why he wrote Pellinore. Maybe he was out of crits. Maybe he knew he was out of crits. That's bad though that I didn't pull a crit. That's really big because I needed a crit. Oh, it's Spectral Duke crit. Okay. Usually with Spectral Duke Ezel you run draws because you use Duke Ride Chain into restanding to, you know, pressure your opponent a lot more. And you have PGs and stuff, and then you use Ezel later after restanding once to fill up your field and make it hard for your opponent to finish you off and try to finish off your opponent. But honestly, I could see this way working out decently well too. It just doesn't. It's not nearly as good. Oh, it's not nearly as good. But he is going to be able to restand. And I have to pull a heal here. I don't have a PG in hand. Wow, didn't pull a heal, no. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. We'll try it again, though, because I want to show off the deck. But that was a decent showing of the deck, but unfortunately, I didn't draw any PGs, and I didn't start with the PG in hand. I think it was a decent showing of, like, what the deck can do. I just didn't pull any crits when I needed to. I didn't pull any crits. Pretty much. I pulled the one crit that put him to 4 damage, but then he had Limit Break. I didn't pull them when I needed to. I didn't pull a single heal. I had 4 heals left in deck. I thought I was sitting pretty. I was sitting pretty, I think. There's a good chance I could have pulled a heal there. And, yeah. I think it's another farmer. If it's another farmer, I'm going to get water. Okay, so we'll put them back. Hopefully I can draw Gareth. Are you a farmer? Please tell me. Please show me. Show me your farm. Or not to farm. Question is farm or not to farm. I don't know why people farm. I mean, I get it for rank farming, but when people say VP farming on their thing, I'm like, it's kind of difficult now. Extremely difficult. Oh, wait. No, he put cards back. Does that mean this person's actually playing? It said rank farm. Unless he's just using his normal deck and just... I don't even know. We're about to find out. Unless this is the person I just fought and I didn't read their... No, playing. Okay. Alright, in main, that's something you would run in Spectral Duke, so probably running Ezel Duke then. I know there's different builds for Ezel and Duke. I don't really know all the builds yet, but I know the one with, like, the draws. I heard something weird, sorry. I, like, looked over, like... The drain, I don't think I'm gonna get my Spirit right. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I'd have to draw Gareth. Gareth. I got a crit this time though, at least. That's what I like to see. Damage on the heal on the first damage trigger. Let's go. That's what I like to see. Yeah, for Viviane. And for Viviane versus Tripp, they both have to hit the Vanguard, but Viviane you use early on to get stuff, so it's easy to hit the Vanguard, whereas like with Tripp, it's later on. And Tripp can help you on flip for Viviane, but with with Tripp it's later on, so usually, so it's like it's harder to hit it to get the unflip. Crap! That's bad. Okay, he's running the draw version. I see a lot of people running the draw crit mix version. The high roll version is really good though, and it's really strong. It's just, honestly, the draw version seems to counter the crit Ezel version. Like, against other decks, the high roll version that I play works so well. But against Ezel, I have trouble. It just works well against it, it seems. Like, it just works well. Makes me cry. I kind of want to get a good fight in, but I don't know if this is going to be a good one, to be honest. I need to draw Gareth. Because I'm probably going to lose this. Alright. I don't think he realizes he needs another rear guard to get the draw. Because you need 4 more rear guards, not your Vanguard doesn't count. Vanguard isn't a rear guard. Okay. Gareth? It's going kind of slow. Nope, nothing. So Ezel doesn't hit me, but your other rear guard will hit me for 20. Oh boy. This is rough. This is rough. Kind of slow. I run into these games that are just kind of slow for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Player's connection probably. That hurts. Both of my... That's 5 crits gone. I don't know if superior riding is a good idea. That's 5 of my crits gone. Because I can't even superior ride at this simple point. There's 5 of my crits gone, so that's pretty big. I got a plan. Okay, we're gonna try this. He committed to a lot, so we're gonna try breaking that down. And the fact that he's not even at limit break yet, I'm gonna probably pull a crit here because I probably jinxed myself, and it doesn't even matter that I jinxed myself. I'm probably gonna pull a crit here. Yeah, that's pretty lucky actually. Gareth, no, why couldn't I draw you? Oh, you put a heal though. Okay, that's honestly pulling a crit that wouldn't have been that bad. You always pull a crit when they don't pull a heal, and then they get limit break, and you're like, shit. And then when you don't pull a crit, they get a heal, and they're just still at the same damage, and you're sitting there looking at it like, really? One or the other, usually. It's funny, though, but it hurts my soul sometimes. And then sometimes you get lucky. So right here, I'm trying to make it difficult for him to do something. This isn't the best showing of Ezel either, honestly. But you do have to play the deck very situational. I mean, all decks you have to play situational, but you do have to play very situational because it's like, as you can see, I didn't get the Spirit Ride, so I called these units to try to knock down his units because, for one, I don't want to hit like 5 damage. For 2, I was just punishing him because he's not even at close to 4. And he doesn't have anything in hand now, so... And he punished me right there because he had to. Because he had to punish my intercepts. Now, next turn, I could ride Ezel, call you, call Pellinore, or if I draw a grade 2, call that, kill those grade 2s, and then make it even more difficult for him to swing more than once. Until... Yeah, that's why. If I didn't call the 2 grade 2s, he would have hit my Vanguard with Beaumains, and then Ezel probably would have hit me. Or actually, no, Ezel would have hit me, and then Beaumains would probably most likely hit me. Unless I were to get lucky. I did not. Nope. There's a PG. There's a lot you have to take into account when playing this deck, especially, because there's just... You gotta know what risks to take with this deck. Ooh, wait. Oh, wait. It's fine. Wait, I have a limit break. Why the fuck did I just call them? I kind of just did that on instinct of what I was saying. So now I called them. Damn it, Marley. Unfortunately, I called them and I could have dropped one of them, but that kind of sucks that I just fucked up. That shows my hand a little too much. Because I could have held on to 3 cards. I don't know if it's fucking PGs. So we're gonna leave it at that, I think. Screwed that up so bad. I just automatically did that because that's what I was talking about, and then he got a crit, and I was like, okay, I won't do that, and I still did it. I still threw them down, and I was like, no, why? Why did you do that? You weren't supposed to do that, Marley. Damn it. So now he's stuck at 3 damage with a back row rear guard. He lost a PG there, which is great. He has nothing in hand. See, that's the issue. Is gotta be a little careful with how much you do. Because Ezel suffers. The thing Ezel suffers from is before you hit Limit Break, that's what your field can end up like if you're not careful. What he should have done was hold on to that grade 2 that he had, that 7k grade 2. Hold on to it. Call the grade 3, so you have Ezel and the grade 3 there. Because now, he has to slap down both of those. I know he doesn't have a PG. If I pull a double crit, the game is over. He's already dropped 2 heals as well. This sucks that I caught those rear guards though, but I should be okay. I hope. I could kill his rear guards, but it won't really do much for me. He would want to kill them anyways to get intercepts, so killing that Ezel gives me nothing. I'm gonna throw Fallon up and then have Ezel swing. Or I'll have like a rear guard swing maybe. Alright. Oh yeah, I have 3. Yeah, I have a rear guard swing because I have Gareth right here. Good. Bringing me to 5 damage. I like that. I still have 3 heals. I have a PG in hand. I'm about to make your life a nightmare. Alright. We need to pull 2 crits. And we could just flat out win. Ooh, and I got another PG. That's nice. That's nice. I need to pull 2 crits and I can win. So, let's begin. We're gonna put Tripp there. This is one time I can use Trips on flipping. That's tricky. Because this means... Actually, you know, that's not that bad. If I don't get a grade 1, I switch him and Fallon. That's all I can do. I have 2 PGs in hand. I'm sitting okay. Or... I pull a Beaumains. Retire Gareth. I have an intercept again next turn, and I could possibly use it if I draw a grade 1. That's what I really like. Dog is barking crap. But I'm in the middle of this. Actually, because I'm sitting in this position, I said need... I said, oh my god. I said I need 2 crits. I'm wrong, I need 1 crit. I keep saying I said. I was trying to say, I said that I need. That's bad. No! Why do you forsake me like this? That's just unlucky. Right there, I could have won. Now that's generally how you play it. I had a better early game last time, but then my later game was just bad. Now it looks like I have a better late game, but I haven't pulled a trigger. It's unlucky. I think I'll keep it at this. I'm not gonna try to do another fight, I think. But I feel like now you kind of get a general idea of how to play this, because of this one more specifically. Like, early game it kind of sucked, but I did well at picking it back up. And honestly, I feel like he's gonna lose this. I have 2 PGs in hand. I still have another limit break that I can do. I can move Master of Pain up. I draw a grade 1. I can still use him. If he calls like a Master of Pain as well, or any kind of AK, front row rear guard, I can kill it with that. I don't need a grade 1. I will still have 2 intercepts most likely, as long as Ezel can Superior Call on them. And I have another PG, so that means next turn he won't be able to finish me either. Like, that puts him in a horrible situation. He drew one card. Not a great chance it's a PG. It could be a PG, but not a great chance. This puts him in a bad situation. This deck is pretty luck-based, though, of course, because you need to pull your triggers. And you want to start out with 1 PG. You want 1 PG at least. 2 is nice, but you want 1 at least, because you have your front rows. Unless you're fighting like Narukami, 2 you kind of need, because if you don't pull a trigger when Vermilion swings at you, you're kind of screwed. So the 2 is nice against Narukami. Or Kagero, because they can retire stuff too. And even MLB as well, because Blaster Blade. And MLB's crit. So, that's also, you know, why you need something like Dindrane or Silver Witch. But interesting, okay. He's going for the brave play. He's going to finish it. Unfortunately, I have a PG in hand, so that kind of screws him over a bit, especially because he has 1 intercept. He went for it because he saw it, and said, I need to all in it. Oh no, he has 2 intercepts, he had 1 in hand. Okay, that's why. Because he doesn't have a PG in hand. I wasn't sure if that was a PG. I kind of doubted it, and I'm right. So, that's pretty good of him, to try to just end it right there, because he has no PG, and if I pull a crit next turn, I haven't pulled a crit yet. If I pull a crit next turn, he definitely loses unless he pulls both heals back to back, and that's very unlikely. So now the 2 Vivianes, so I'm gonna have to call it PG if I don't call it grade. If I don't get a grade 1, because I need to survive as well. Actually, I might not have to. I don't think he's gonna use that. There's no reason to use that. Doesn't do anything for him. Ooh, draw trigger though. That could be a PG. See, that's his thing. You don't know if it's a PG, so could be scary to risk it all. I hope I draw a grade 1 or a grade 2 here, honestly. Like a grade 2 that's not Master of Pain. I really need a drink. I can hear it. Yeah, this is a much better late game for me. Opposed from not pulling triggers. Yes! Gareth, let's go. Okay, good. Grade 2. Give me grade 2. Because I can survive next turn then. Oh, lot beer. Let's go. Let's go, lot beer. This is risky. I could drop the Gareth, cycle again, and it gives me a better chance of getting a trigger. That's how many triggers I have left. But if I don't get a grade 2 that's higher than Master of Pain, or another grade 1, it'll be a problem. I got a grade 1. We're fine. Good. The heal was at the top, and then there was a crit down there. So, that wouldn't have been too bad, but it would have been very nice to get the crit. Yeah, this is a much better late game. It doesn't even matter that I haven't pulled triggers. I'm just having a better late game. There it is. You usually pull those throughout the game, and you can easily pop your opponent's PGs. Oh, nothing. Okay, there we go, we win. We did it. So with the deck, usually, you know, as I said, you pull crits earlier. Like, I damage checked 2 crits, and I think that killed my crit early game. Wow. You do want to pull more earlier, because you want to pop your opponent's PGs early. And you can really pop them. It's a bum rush deck. But it's a very, very good bum rush high roll deck. I was behind there, but because I ran 9 crits, because I'm bum rush focused, I still won. He rolled the Pellinore because he didn't have a PG, and then called the Viviane. Honestly, that was a really good choice to try to finish me. and make sure he finished me because I still had all 4 heals in deck. That was a really good option to do so. He had to take the risk. It was definitely worth the risk. He had to take the risk and hope for a heal, basically. That's what he had to do, because there was a pretty decent chance that he wasn't going to get the Pellinore again if he limit bricked 2 more times. So it was like, do I take this risk with Pellinore and try to completely end the game because there's a good chance I'm just going to lose? Or do I thin out the deck as much as possible, hope to get Pellinore again, and then maybe I'll pull a heal next turn? That's another risk he could have taken. So it's a very high risk, high reward deck. No matter what variant you play, because of all this, because of all the thinning, because of all that. And the deck does work very well. The deck is very, very strong, and I've won games, so I've won crazy games because of it. This wasn't the best showing, but I feel like I got a good showing of the early game. Sorry about the barking. The early game in the last one, and the late game in this one, and hopefully you guys can kind of understand and kind of get an idea of how to play the deck and experiment with yourselves and learn how to play the deck. You're focused on thinning out the deck, getting as many triggers as possible, and just trying to end your opponent as fast as possible, especially because, when they're at grade 1 and you're at grade 3, you could still self-damage yourself, thin out your deck, and get all that, and pull crits, and they're sitting at grade 1 at like 4 damage or something, and you have like 5 damage, so their heals didn't activate because of your self-damagers, or you're sitting at 4 damage, and they just hit 4 damage, but their heals didn't activate because of that. And it's just a very strong deck because of all that, because of the Superior Ride, because of just what it can do. So any kind of variant you play is just so strong, and it's such a good deck. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to do this. A little annoying because ran into VP Farmer, and then the deck didn't totally agree with me, but you can kind of see how to run it now at least. And that's also why I'm debating on running on either, an extra Viviane or Tripp, but in that situation, the Tripp worked out very well for me. So that was really nice. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, because I would have survived next turn. Yeah, thank you all for joining me. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.